So thanks everybody for joining this training class. I'm 100% sure you don't regret it. We will first cover the lead find and jack updates, and then Tammy will join us for her tip of the week. So when you start lead find and jack, after a minute or so, it will come up with a window and say there's an update notification. So you want to confirm that. Once you have confirmed that, you can see on the settings and then show me what is new. See what is installed, what is new in this version. So what is new is you can now send a test email from the campaigns pane. So actually, that was one of the things that the DMUL users were asking, how to send a test email, and you could it from here, but it was actually not the most logical place because it doesn't show the company information. What you can do now is you go to campaigns, you select an email, and you select over a company, and you select and you click on test email, and now number of emails to be sent, and it also needs an email template. And if you click on start email campaign, it will send this email to the license email address. Okay, and now you can see how that email looks like if the company had received that email. Of course, because this is a campaign, on the emails you have to link an email template. Everybody get that? The first update? So now you can send test email from the campaign screen as the company would have received. Okay? So that was one of the questions which came up the last 2 weeks, and we implemented. So the next update is sending an email with DMUL is now also possible with an email tracking. Okay, so what we said last time, that is, you not only want to know if they open the email, but you also want to know if they clicked on the demo URL. Everybody remembers that? That you want to track if they clicked on the demo URL, so you know they have seen the website. So if you go to the email template and there's now the demo URL token, it automatically asks, do you want link tracking, yes or no? If you say yes, then it's not only demo URL, but it also tracks it. That's all what you need to do. Guys, can this be simpler? There's no high-tech coding now. You just said, okay, I want tracking on the link or not. Okay, and when you save, it gets saved. So when you go to emails and dashboard tracking, it will show up here if on the link was if the link was clicked, or if there was clicked on the link. The third thing, DMUL is now built from phone number if company name is unknown. So it can, in very rare cases, that the company name is not known. So with that, it will use the phone number as representative or as the business name as part of the demo URL. So this is just a technical thing, but it covers an issue. Most of the common used characters with accents like an E or could in French are now displayed correctly. So if the business name has a kind of a French, Italian or whatever name, we can handle that now. Everybody get that? If the bus name is kind of special characters which cannot be used in a URL, we handle that now. The next, almost most important thing is Yellow Pages has been much faster. Yellow Pages was the bottleneck, and we found a solution that collecting the information from Yellow Pages in search goes now much and much faster. Everybody get that point? If you run this program, you will see that Yellow Page was the bottleneck. If you had say it stops at 90%, now it will not stop at 90% anymore. Lead Finder engine has been much faster. So not only Yellow Pages has been much faster, but the whole search goes now faster. This goes now faster. So it's about 50% faster. Okay? Everybody likes those updates? Emails tracking, selecting all had the opposite effect from selecting none. So this has been solved. Local BIS is now default. Only save result to the search city. Okay, I have to explain this feature. When you did plumber Boca Raton, the results were also from companies who served Boca Raton, but they were not located in Boca Raton. Everybody get that? So they served Boca Raton, but they were not, the physical building was not in Boca Raton. And some of you guys didn't like that. They say, if I search in Boca Raton, I want to see the companies from Boca Raton. So what we did is now, in settings, there's a setting, local BIS saves only search cities. Local BIS, so if it returns city from Boca Raton, it will save that company. If the result is let's say a city close to Boca Raton, like Coral Springs or Fort Lauderdale, it will not save that company. Okay, so if you want a lot of results, you uncheck that. Okay, if you want, I don't care if they come from my city at search, then uncheck it. If you do care, if you only want to target Boca Raton, then you keep that checked. So that is that feature. Then local business, okay, new engine. Okay, that is something big. New engine USA search. So everybody see this? USA search. This is huge. I apologize if you're not targeting USA. We will implement other countries. When you do select one niche in one city, it's the same interface as Home Advisor. So let's say Florida, then Boca Raton, and then you guys can see that how many predefined niches there are. You have to if you don't see that, you have to do the update. So this is part of BIS Lead Finder. If you don't have BIS Lead Finder, just show the standard Lead Finder Jack. You don't have access to this. Okay? Now there are two parts of this. The bad part is it is slow. It is slow to get that information. Okay? The good part is almost every business it finds the owner name and the website. It's very complete. It's about 90% of the companies it finds the owner name. Is that not incredible? You know, in the beginning when I did the test, I was not so pleased with it. I said, wow, we have 3 weeks work on this. You know, was this well spent time? Then I start analyzing the results, and then I saw it is slow. I don't get so many results, but the results I get is with website, with email, and with owner's name. Wow. Owner's name, you can if your email is, hi Mike, I found your website and there was some issue with it. I would really like to speak about you. Instead of, hi Business ABC, I saw your website. Now what would make more impression? So I know if it's not bad if you don't have Mike, but if you do have Mike, the owner's name, you are you do very well. Okay, so about the accuracy of the owner's name, I did 10 business names and they were all correct. Is that representative? No, but I was blown away. I was blown away that those 10 were correct. I didn't check 100, okay, but it's pretty accurate. Does it work with Sales Dynamite? Yes, but it comes with the BizLead Finder. You create a template where you put the owner's name in the email template and it will show the owner's name. So if you do search of emails, template, and you see your name is ready. And if you make that company first name, Mike, hi Mike, your name is ready. Which one would open the email more likely? Hey Mike, your name is ready, or just your name is ready? Do you guys see the power of it? Yeah, I know. I was blown away. When I realized that, I was blown away. It is not, how do you say it? It's not only positive, okay? It takes more time to collect it and there are lesser business. But the business you get, you get a very good information. It's quality information. I posted in Facebook a screenshot and I put it in the email too. So I let it run overnight. Yeah, you have to run it overnight. But you know which emails I get in the support? Hey, I have another software, ABC software, and it is much quicker. Oh yeah, is it much quicker? So which does it give emails? Does it give owner's name? So what is quicker? More garbage quicker? So now on the other hand, local biz is very fast. Local biz is very fast. I don't know there is one faster than local biz. But local biz does not come with 90% owners names. So thanks, Dave. So those are the updates. In the membership side, there are some how-to videos. Jack, will the owner's name and email address show up in all of your search? It's about 90%, but I was blown away. I was blown away because I had always hard time to find the owner's name. I never have an other program that I could find the owner's name that good. And I tried a lot. And finally, we figured it out. And it took 3 weeks of hard coding. And I knew you guys were waiting on some other solutions. So, lead finder. There's a how-to section. And before you send an email, I want you to go over this how-to section. Okay? So, Jack, there are 2 home advisor buttons on the menu bar. Left, I don't know. But I wanted to say, before you submit a ticket, I want you to go over the how-to section. And this video, I just have to upload it. I have to put it in the membership site, and so when you watch the replay, that will get fixed. It's fixed. Now, there's one more thing left, and that is the problems, the issues, the question, what you have related to emailing. That is the part we're going to tackle this week. Okay? So the emailing part, that lift suspension and loader setup, we're going to tackle this week. So that is where the software programmer is working on this week. So hopefully, but I don't promise, next week or so, I can demo that, or will the week after. Okay, so if you have some problems with the update, just send a support ticket. I see a couple of questions related to those searches. So then just send me the log files and we will take a look at it. Or just restart the computer and try it one more time. So we'll see. So now we have USA. Same thing, we created the same interface. This interface you will never see in other program. You might see in other program, but then they clone it for me. Like my emails and all my notes, they will probably clone this too. So if you see that someone in other program, you know that is a cloner. They like to clone my IDs. Oh, I haven't changed the screen, so let me repeat that. If you see this interface in another, that is unique. That is we invented this screen, this interface. So if you see this in an interface, you know you work with a cloner, and that company who sells our software has no own IDs. Okay. So then you know. Can you explain the user search, please, the database? I don't know what you want to see. So it's the same as the home advisor. Search one city in one, search one niche in one city, search all niches in one city, search one niche in one state, and search one niche in all states. So there's nothing, but you have not to go to school to make this happen. Jack, what was your answer about the home advisor appearing twice in the top choices. So just make a screenshot and then send it to support, and we will take a look at it. Okay, so if you stopped halfway and you want to update is Home Advisor and USA. I don't see 2 times Home Advisor. I don't know. I am blind. Home Advisor and USA. I don't see 2 times Home Advisor. Oh, I see here. Oh, I see. I don't know. That are probably the same. Do we need to dig deep at step 2 on usage search too? Yes. Double your money, said Roger. It was so good that we needed to. What is the USA database? That is a secret. That's a $1 million secret, Mark. So you get the end result. We take care of how it works. So with that said, let me try to get, you guys are ready for Tammy? Okay. I bet you are. How do we load a campaign in USA? I'm not getting that question. So what the status is of Australia, United Kingdom, and Canada is this first we will tackle the email, and then we will do the other countries. Yes, Tammy is ready for us. Okay, let's see. Let's try Tammy on the line. Tammy, I'm going to unmute you. Tammy, you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect. I'm good. So I will make you first organizer. Okay. Correct?
I believe so, and then present.
And then you can. Are you still there?
Change presenter.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
And then go find me. Let's see, where am I at? Tammy, there I am. Change presenter.
Okay, I will give you the okay.
See. Show my screen.
Wow.
So, you see my screen?
Who likes a Mac? Say yes. I don't have one.
So can you see my screen?
I do.
Oh, okay. So everybody should be able to. It says I may be experiencing network difficulties, but it's probably okay. So thank you, everybody, for inviting me back. I'll get right into it. Tip from Tammy this week builds on tip number 1 from last week, which was a very simple little tip, which was how to put an image into an email and then link it to a video. And what happened was everybody says, well, what video do we link to this image? So I decided to put together a video that you could use, and this is only one way that you could create a video to sell a local ThemeJack website. And the reality is you can just use your imagination and you could tweak this to sell anything in offline marketing. You could use it to sell video, reputation, websites, call tracking services, whatever it is that you want to sell. But tonight, we're going to focus on local theme jack websites and one method within the scheme of things that you could use. For those of you who haven't met me yet, my name is Tammy Patzer, and I've been a local offline marketer since 2010. I also teach at Florida Gulf Coast University. I speak a lot around the state of Florida and actually around the country for SCORE, Small Business Administration, Sea Grant. I've written a couple books about social media and Pinterest. I am a former newspaper editor and publisher and actually a video producer. And then I was a Main Street Marketing Machines hero with Mike Koenig's Traffic Geysers. So I have been out to San Diego several times sharing my local success stories with people at his events. And thankfully, Jack Hopman recognized something in me, and I'm here talking to you tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. It's really fun because I've managed, every time I do these tips, they always seem to come out to 10 steps. So I'm just going to go over the 10 steps tonight, and then I'm going to give you an example. And I've already recorded 2 samples that you'll have access to, and Jack will tell you how you can access them. And I also wrote a script, and the script is not meant to be anything perfect, but it's certainly a good place to start so that you can understand that you really are just offering some really good education and help, and then at the end you're giving them an offer they can't refuse. So it's pretty basic education, give them an offer they can't refuse in 3 minutes or less. And I think that this presentation or video that you can create, if you really practice and tweaked it, you might be able to get it down to 2 minutes, but you don't want to sound like you're rushing through this, and you want to make sure that it's valuable information coming out of your mouth. Every word that comes out of your mouth should be leading them into that, wow, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. So here's the first thing, that the way that I started with this presentation is I would start with determining the niche that I'm going to go after. And what I did in this particular example is I just went to Jack's sample and I found asbestos. I can't even pronounce it, but I found that was the sample. And then I did a little research of a potential client. And again, this is only one way that you could use this method. I personally like to hand pick my clients, but if you're using Lead Finder Jack, you can make this a generic video. So don't get stuck by going, oh, well, Tammy did it exactly like this. This is designed so that you can apply your own personality to it, and it will work for you if you do it as a customized potential client or in a generic form. So keep in mind that if you don't have to do this exactly the way that I'm doing it, but if you take these steps, I think that you'll find it's pretty easy. Step number 3, I pick out my ideal prospective client, and then I actually do what I call, I set up my tabs, and I'm going to demonstrate what that means. Then I printed out my script. I wrote it, of course, first, but in this case, you could take this script, make it your own, or I often just wing it, meaning I set up my program and then I talk. And here's what I find. If I have a script, I can make it short and sweet, If I just talk, I have a tendency to go off script, because I noticed today when I was recording, I was practicing, and if I kept to the script, 3 minutes. If I went off script, 4 minutes. So that's just a tip. Step 6, get your screen recorder set up with your microphone. All I'm using is a simple headset, a Logitech cheap headset. It's probably a $30 headset. You can use more expensive microphones. I tested today with free Jing, which is from TechSmith. And with Jing, the free service, you get 5 minutes, which is plenty. I also tested with Screencast-O-Matic. The Pro level, you can use it for free, but it watermarks it. I spend $15 a year to use Screencast-O-Matic Pro Edition. It does a really nice job of recording. It's a simple setup, and it works on Mac or PC. So I try to give you tools so that you can work or use with any computer device you have. Step 7, you have to get ready and motivated. You have to be excited about helping the person you're talking to. You have to smile when you talk. Right now I'm smiling. Do you notice the difference in my voice when I smile? You have to visualize that person in your head and talk to that person as if they were right in front of you and you were doing this presentation. I think that's really important when you're trying to convey enthusiasm into space, when you really are all by yourself and you're trying to sell something to someone or educate someone. Step 8 is you record it, and then you can upload it to YouTube as an unlisted video, or you can use another service. If you're using Jing, for example, you could save it into their screencast.com, and then you'd have a link. So that's a decision that you can make, but YouTube unlisted works great because you have that URL. And then, of course, you want to use email with tracking, so that means that you can use your Lead Finder Jack or any other system, but why not use the tools you've got? If you've got Lead Finder Jack, you've got the best tools out there. And then, of course, follow up. Follow up is the secret to this whole thing, because if you never follow up, meaning you need to call them or you need to send additional emails to make sure that, number one, did they get it? What did they think? Because you can't always guarantee that they're going to see it in their hundreds of emails they might get or take the time to read it. So you might have to send them the information a couple times and follow up with a phone call. And if you're tracking it, the beauty of that is you know when they open it, how many times they share it, you know a lot of information, and it makes that call a very warm, if not hot call. And then if they're really into it, they're going to actually pick up the phone and call you or send back an email to you. So those are your 10 steps. And if you do each one, you can make a nice little system, and it won't take you very long to do this. Here's a sample script, and it's too small for you to read, but what I did do is I saved it and put it into our Dropbox, so Jack will be able to share this with you. And again, this is just a script to make it easy for you and so that you have a flow. You don't have to use the exact wording. It's really just a sample of how I put together. I found your website and see that you need some updates to bring it current. In this particular instance, I actually found a website that obviously was old, and then I'm saying, if you can give me 3 minutes, I can show you how to make your online presence better to help you get more customers and clients. I promise that if you watch this video, you will get valuable, up-to-date information about websites today and a surprise that will make it more than worth it. So I'm telling them immediately who I am. All I want are 3 minutes, and if you watch it to the end, I'm going to give you something that's going to make it worth it, and then I just move on, and I'll show you exactly the how I did it. If you ever watched my first training about the 21 things that make a good website, I followed the similar formula where I use my local theme jack as my good example to explain to people this is why this website is good, and I never say anything negative. Even though I show a sample of their website, I never say a negative thing about their website or their presence at all, and you'll see that in a couple minutes. And then at the very end, I do give them a price. And again, I'm not telling you how much to sell these websites for. It really depends on several factors. Where do you live? What is the going rate for website services in your area, and the niche you're in? Because obviously an attorney is going to get much higher lead value than, say, a guy selling pizza. You know, in terms of a client to an attorney might be worth $10,000, where the guy selling pizza, it might be worth $10. And then, of course, when people keep coming back time after time after time, it adds up. But those are things that I can't advise you on in terms of this, because this is a generic example. But I do give you an example where you could say, you know, you're going to save 50% and it's this much, or it's only this much per month. And that could include a call tracking system, because of course call tracking for leads is very hot. And if you're not using that type of a service, you really should be, because call tracking is a way that you can actually determine, is your online presence working for you? So I'll move on. Of course, I wanted to say, what tools do you need to do this method? You're going to need a screen capture software. So TechSmith.com, Jing is free, or Screencast-O-Matic. You can use it free or pay $15 a year to get the Pro Edition. And what that does is it takes the time limitation off of how long you can make your videos, and it also takes the watermark off. Again, it works on Windows or Mac, and it's very easy, and I like it because I can upload directly to YouTube, or I can download an MP4 file, or I can even use their service for storing the video. So I like those tools. What I'm going to show you next is I'm going to show you what would be in each tab of my presentation, and I'll go ahead and show you the samples, and then I think what I'll go ahead and do is I'll try to create what it would sound like, you know, a live version. You know, knowing that I might stumble and make some mistakes, but at least it'll give you an idea of my pace and the tone and everything. So this is an example of a person or a company that has asbestos as one of their services. And again, this was a random search. I just went and I put in the term asbestos removal. I clicked, and this is, you know, lo and behold, look what I found. I found an old website that needed help. So this is the first image that I took a screenshot of. Then I went to a mobile emulator and I put their URL into a mobile emulator and took a screenshot of what their website looks like on a mobile device. And then I took a shot of what their website looks like on a tablet. And as you can see, their website is only half there. And this particular website is missing a lot of factors, as you can see. I mean, I couldn't have found a better example if I had tried harder for this particular example. So then I went and I found the ibizleads.com demo site, and of course it's all pretty and fits into the mobile. And so I took a screenshot of that. And then, of course, I took more screenshots of the website, and you'll understand all of this when I actually do the presentation of how this all fits together. So then I have a website of the About Us page, and then, of course, I show the review page, the Contact Us page with the map, and then I actually took an image of my own website because I want to give them an idea of who I am, and I'm showing the example that I'm using, the same thing that I'm telling them I think they should use, plus they can see my face. And then I go back and end it with the asbestos removal, and I show the mobile device in this particular slide. And of course, on my real example, I'm not able to paste the mobile site on top of the asbestos removal, but you could, if you were doing this, there's a couple ways that you could do this. You could take screenshots and do exactly what I just did and make a recording over it, or you can do it another way, and let me show you what that other way is. So this is, hopefully, can you now see the live screen that says newmediamash.com digital marketing? Can you see that, everybody?
Yes.
I can't hear Jack.
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. So what I do, and this is an example, is notice at the top as I click through the tabs here, I set up all my tabs to the live screenshots here, okay? And then what I do is of course, I set up my recorder, and it's either going to be, if I'm using Jing, of course I would select the Jing and actually, I'm not sure how well this will translate over the webinar, but I would actually grab it, can you see that, and I would actually then record that. I'm afraid that on the webinar it might not work well, so I'm not going to actually record it live, but I would go through, and again I've got my initial example of their website. I have the mobile image, I have the tablet image, then I show the local theme jack image as a mobile, and then I of course show it when it's a regular page, and then I have the About Us, and then I go back to the page, and again I'll do a demo so you'll see how I'm using this, and then again I'm actually wanting to show this map down here. And then, of course, I'm showing the testimonials, and I'm using my testimonials as the testimonial example because I don't have any about them right at the moment. And then I have my About Us page. Again, I'm really using this so that they're looking at my face as I talk, and then I can end it on the digital marketing showing the Contact Us page again. So let me go ahead, and I'm going to read my script and try to demonstrate to you exactly how it sounds and what it looks like. And again, in this particular sample, what I'm showing is a real potential client. Now, you could not have this part of the presentation where you have a real website, and you could actually start it here, because then you could present it in the demo mode, where you would say, I created this website demo just for you. That might be one way that you could do it, and then you could do a similar presentation pointing out all the things that make this a good website. So I'm just going to do it. My model will be as if I were making this for a potential client that I know I can help. I mean, it's pretty obvious that we could really help this particular company if we choose to. So let me just go through it, and again, I may stumble. This is not perfect, and that's something that I learned today that I think is really, really important, is it doesn't have to be 100% perfect for it to work. I think that we always want everything to be perfect the way we speak, but naturally, maybe we might mispronounce something, maybe we stumble on our words, maybe we get a little tongue-tied. Even if it isn't 100% perfect, it still can be a very valuable video. So yes, practice until you feel comfortable, but don't practice so that you end up spending 8 hours to make one video that when it was probably good enough. And that was a lesson that I learned today, because I kept making these little words that didn't quite sound right in my head, and I was wasting time in essence, because I was seeking perfection that the odds are that I wouldn't get trying to create this type of sales and marketing tool. So just keep that in mind, that it does not have to be perfect. Good is good enough. And if you're imparting valuable information, I think they're going to appreciate it a lot. So I'm going to go ahead, and I may stumble, so forgive me for that. This may not be perfect, so I'm going to give you that up front, but at least it's an example. And the way that I look at it is, if you took this information, it's Sunday night, March 1st, and you implement it tomorrow, Monday, and you sent it out, and you got something like one sale out of it, wow, how cool would that be? If you learned something on Sunday, implemented it on Monday, and then you actually made some money off of a tip. How cool would that be? That would really be cool. So anyway, let me go ahead and start. And again, hopefully it all works out. Okay, so remember, I'm trying to be energetic, and I want to speak clearly, and I want to impart that I'm excited about helping them. So I'm going to go ahead. Hi, this is Tammy Patzer. I found your site and see that you need some updates to bring it current. If you can give me 3 minutes, I can show you how to make your online presence help you get more customers and clients. I promise that if you watch this video, you'll get valuable, up-to-date information about websites today and a surprise that will make it more than worth it. I can help you get new clients and customers using attention-getting website ideas and social media. As you know, it's vital today that websites be mobile ready, since more than 50% of all people are using mobile phones and tablets to find information. They want to be able to tap to call and get a hold of somebody immediately, so your website has to look good and be user-friendly. It needs to be connected to social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, YouTube, and Skype. It needs to be easy to navigate so that it's easy for the user to find information. It needs to have good photographs and information like this. The images move, and it also needs video and high-quality information about their business so that people can feel good about you. People like to do business with people they know, like, and trust. People like, as you know, word of mouth is the most powerful marketing there is. So your website needs to have virtual word of mouth with testimonials and reviews about you. For example, these are some of the reviews that you can find out about me on my website. How much do you think a website like this is going to cost? $10,000? $5,000? $1,000? Well, since you took the time to watch this video, the big surprise I promise to you is that I have already taken the time to have my team create a demonstration website just for you. If you like it, I can get it customized with your photos and information within the next week for half, 50% off the going rate of more than $1,000. So if you just say, I like it, we can get it customized, again, with your photos and information for only $497. Sound good? Take a look at the demo site I created just for you, and then call me and we'll get it set up with your own domain name. Check out the site and get back with me today. Thanks. This is Tammy Patzer. Call me at 941-421-6563 or just reply to this email. I look forward to helping you dominate online. So that, as you know, I stumbled a little bit there, and if I tweak my script there, I can probably smooth that out with a little bit more practice. But again, if you were listening, you heard that I was excited about helping them, and I gave them valuable information as I went through it. I was telling them, in essence, good things a website should have, and then, of course, they could see it with the video. So we were using the power of video and, of course, audio, and we had images. So you could take the similar concept, make some short videos in any niche that you choose, and then you can apply it to the tip number 1 from last week, which was make an image of a video, put it into your email, write a short little letter that goes with it. They can listen to it, and it goes perfectly with the demonstration website concept that Jack has already created for you, so that you have a little video that explains it. You could be showing them either a generic demo website or the demonstration website, depending on the method or how you decide to do it. But this method I think can be very powerful because you're using the power of video, you are having show and tell, and then if you're using the demo website, you've got that already, and you didn't say, oh, it took me 2 seconds to make it. You basically are saying, I thought enough of you to have this created for you, and then of course we can take the time to really perfect it later. So that is Tammy's tip for this week, and I kind of like the idea of, Jack made a comment to me about we should call it, Tammy's golden nugget, and so I kind of took that to heart, and I thought that every little tip is like building your local marketing business one gold nugget at a time. And then, of course, implement it Monday to make more money this week. I really think that this tip could help you make money this week. So that's Tammy's tip.
Thank you, Tammy. Let everybody applause for Tammy. I have been quiet for a while because I didn't want to interrupt the recording, and I answered your guys' questions, so you didn't hear the keyboard, but it was fantastic. That video what you created, that was awesome. I think everybody can have seen how simple it can be, how you can do it in a couple of minutes, and you just send it out. It's all about action, guys. It's not about difficulty. You have all the tools you use. So, couple of technical questions. Okay. What emulator did you use do you have a preference, or do you remember?
I just went and I did a Google search, and I just found, I actually looked at a couple, and I think this was just called mobileemulator.com or something, and I saw one for like Brick and Mobile, but it locked up on me, so I just went with the one that worked.
Yeah.
So you can use any mobile emulator. Like I said, I just did a Google search for mobile emulator, and then I played with it to see, well, what does this website look like, in an iPhone or an Android or a BlackBerry, and then I said, oh, look at tablet. Let's see what it looks like in a tablet, because I really think it's important to show people at least examples. If you were doing this in a generic video, I think what you could do is, what I would do is I'd go find a couple examples of a website that just didn't fit, like let's say you're doing HVAC, air conditioning companies, and you found a couple examples, that just didn't fit. So at least they can get the concept of, oh my goodness, I should be checking this. And of course, if it's their website, if you're doing the custom client way where it's going to take a little bit more time per client, then of course you would go find their real website. But I wanted to point out that I never said they had a bad website. I just said, I found your site and I see you need some updates to bring it current. I just avoided, there was an entire conversation the other day on the Facebook page about how do you tell someone their website sucks, and the reason that probably came up was because I actually used that term in one of my presentations, but that was my attempt at being humorous. So maybe it didn't work because I'm kind of a serious person, but I do try to lighten up every now and then, with a little bit of humor, but maybe it just doesn't translate. But really, if you just show somebody that, they can determine, they don't need to be told. And a lot of these people, what happens is their website is something that they did years ago and they just don't pay attention anymore because it's probably not working for them. It's probably just there, and they don't even have an idea that their website actually could be helping them to get more clients and customers in the door, because they don't even know that all they have is a brochure. A lot of these people, they really don't know. And I know that a lot of people go, when they go do presentations and talk, that they'll stand in front of these people and they'll act like the only thing that's hot is Facebook or social media, and they'll totally ignore any other media like old school media, direct mail, and magazines and websites. Although websites, even though I never ever wanted to sell websites, I probably sold more websites than other services, because that's what people, they all know they need to have a foundation of their online presence, and a website should be that foundation. And that was actually one of the things I personally struggled with websites, and why when the digital marketing thing came out, it was like I jumped on that. That was when I became an enterprise member, was that digital website, and I went, oh my God, I've got to have that, because you know the other ones were phenomenal and fabulous, but when I could use it myself, I jumped on that, and I had that site up like within hours, because it was something I'd personally been looking for. I wanted that beautiful website with the lead capture and the social media icons and the video, and you know, just it had everything that I'd been looking for and teaching about. And my website, I wasn't even able to have that until I got my local theme jack. And I know that sounds, I don't know what it sounds like, but it's all the truth. That's the thing about it. It's the absolute truth, and that's how I ended up talking to you, is because I started using local theme jack, and now I'm using the lead finder, and they're tools that are just, they far surpass other tools that I've been using since 2010. So for me to say that, I think, because believe me, I've tried everything under the sun for myself and then also for my clients. I mean, these tools are really fabulous, and the fact that they're always being improved based on the users, I think, is really phenomenal.
Okay, not a bad comment at the end, but what I wanted to say. So, question to you guys. If you have sales dynamite, but that's all what you need, is the enterprise plus the business lead finder, enter yes. Okay, Gary has it, David, Steve, Roger, Tony, Chris, Tom, Mike, James, Brian, Paulette, Dennis, Lydia, Kathy Ray, Dale, Don, Carl, Ed, Chris, Jim, Jimmy, Ronald. So a lot of you guys have it. Now, if you do not have sales dynamite, enter no. Nelson doesn't have, I don't think I do. Dag, Dale, Robert, Joe is not sure. Sabrina has it. Nelson has lead finder jack standard. So, what is the sales dynamite? Okay. So, if you want to implement it tomorrow, and it's actually, you know, today or whatever, depending on your time, and you want to have this replay, you want to have all the Tammy's material, you want to have this short presentation at your fingertips, you would like to have all the training what comes with, you just grab Sales Dynamite Jack for Is it $27 still? I think it is. $27, I think. $27. So I don't know, Tammy, can you see that link, or can you put it?
Yes, I see a link. It says something about salesdynamitejack.com.
Yeah.
Yes, I see that in the chat.
So if you go to that link, then it's still for $27, and you have everything what Tammy showed tonight. You can implement it for $27. You have the enterprise plus the business lead finder. The business lead finder, I showed you this earlier. It has tracking, it finds owner's name, it has everything what you can dream of. Together, it is $27 the first month and $59 the other month. And the section what I didn't show is the business lead finder. It works in any country, Canada, United Kingdom, any country. So I just wanted to point it out because what Tammy just showed tonight, you opened 10 tabs and you go over this presentation. Everybody can do that. Okay, you can even have a script, in front of you, and you just read that script. It's not difficult. The Sales Dynamite Jack includes enterprise. So if you have the enterprise but not the business lead finder, you want to grab it, and then you just reply, send a support ticket and say, hey Jack, I already have enterprise, so cancel that one. Okay. So if you have enterprise and not the business lead finder, you just grab it to get access from the business lead finder, and then we will cancel the enterprise view, and you only have the business lead finder, and that includes the enterprise plus the business lead finder. So Dave said, success, I did my first website today for a local dentist, bundled with good quality 2 minutes promo video offer. I received $1,500 for the website and the video. Thank you, Jack. So do you think I make these notes up? So I get those comments, Jack, I cannot sell your website for more than $199. No, it's relative to what they to the niche, and if you have a higher monthly, you don't need to ask $1,500. So Philip said, thank you, Tammy. I really value your training and input. You are knowledgeable and very inspiring. Glad Jack recognized that you have a lot to offer, and I think that along with Jack's generous training, most of us really look forward to your tips and training as well. So that's a comment from Philip.
Thank you, Philip. That's nice.
How many?
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I do too. Thanks, Philip. So how many websites can we create with Sales Dynamite Jack? 10 per month. And if you want more, you just buy 10 more for $49. So where's the replay from tip 1? Under Enterprise Plus section. So if you go to if you are an enterprise user, you have access to it. If you're not, then you don't have access to it. So you want to get access to it and get that Sales Dynamite Jack deal, and you have access to everything. Does that call tracker work in USA as in Australia and New Zealand? It has a little bit delay, but it is pretty good. USA, we have more servers than in Australia, but it's pretty good.
Oh, Jack, I wanted to say that these tips build on one another. And what I do is I look at the feedback from everybody on the call, and that's how I ended up developing this week's tip. Next week, I actually am going to build on this. Tip number 3 is going to be, I'm going to give you a couple more examples of types of videos you could make. For example, somebody mentioned, I think on the site, about you could do a video about, oh my God, I created a website for another client. They decided not to buy it. Would you like to buy it at a discounted rate? I want to share some different ideas about different, I guess they would be techniques that you could use, and that'll be tip number 3. So I think that way it'll kind of like wrap it all up and give people, more bullets for their gun, I guess, on that. And then I think, well, that's what I know. That was the idea that I got, that tip number 1, tip number 2, and then tip number 3 would all be related. And then obviously I don't know what tip number 4 is going to be, but I do know that that's what I'm planning for next week. So everybody should tune in to learn about that, to learn about different ways to talk to your audience, and what happens is one of these ideas is going to resonate with you more than others, and so whatever resonates with you, that's the one that you should do, because you want to do what you can implement. And you know how they always say money loves speed, and I never really understood what that even meant, but it really means if you can implement your ideas quickly, the money will come in faster. So however you use this, if you use it in email, again, you can use this technique in a live situation. Just let your imagination kind of take you where it needs to go on using these little tips, because like Jack has said, these are pretty simple techniques, but they're very powerful.
So I got a question. Is Lead Finder Jack, Busy Finder included in Sales Dynamite Jack? Yes. With Sales Dynamite Jack, you have everything. You have the best WordPress team, and you have the best Lead Finder tool. Okay, so Vicky, you ask a long question, but let me answer it quickly. If a client has a website and is concerned about SEO ranking by installing the new website, I have seen multiple cases that the ranking improves instead of go worse. I hope that answers your question. If you are concerned about the content you lose, you want to make a backup. So let me ask a question directly, because I'm a male. Who wants to hear tip number 3 next week? Who's ready for tip number 3 next week? Say yes or no, so we can plan our time. You don't hurt me when you say no.
Yeah, and again, if you don't like that, I don't have to do it. Or if you have a better idea that you'd rather learn, I'm open. I'm very flexible, and I was thinking about it the other day. If you remember Mary Poppins, you remember how she had her carpet bag, and she would open it up, and whatever she needed just came out. that's kind of how I am. I have a lot of ideas and a lot of things I've tried and used successfully, and so I just try to pull out what I think is going to make the biggest impact on your business this week or tomorrow. Like if you learn it, like I said, if you learn it tonight and you implement it on Monday, is this going to help you make money this week? Because I know the biggest issue for me when I was first starting out, or even now, is am I using my time appropriately, and is it going to help me make more money, i.e. support my family? You know, what is my big why? My big why is I have a family to take care of, and this is how I'm choosing to do it. I don't want a job. To me, a job is a dirty word. I did it for 35 years, and I don't want to do it anymore. I like what I'm doing. I love teaching you guys stuff, and all of the comments that you guys give me, it just motivates me to go, oh, okay, I'll do more. I'm one of those people. It's like the dog, you pat it on the head and it just wiggles and wags and loves you to death. That's me when I get positive reinforcement for what I'm doing. So thank you. I appreciate
Do
it.
you guys hear that? This is how Tammy works, and you probably know that, but if you are very responsive in your comments in Facebook and you show up, Tammy is willing to give you more tips.
Some Karen, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, Stavert. She says, I heard that your site sucks hidden in your presentation. Hee hee. That's funny. She was the one who had the big conversation about your site sucks. That's funny. Oh, and then somebody said, like a billboard. Well, to me, I try to speak. I'm sure all of us do it naturally, but when I speak to people, I try to speak to them in a language that they can understand. And for example, I have a big jeweler client, and I'm not kidding. He invited me. He and his wife invited me to their house on a Sunday to talk about business. He's sitting there in swim trunks, and he's like a little woolly bear, and she's in her bathrobe, and I'm like, she makes me a cup of coffee, and I'm sitting there like going, oh my God, what? And I'm trying to talk to them about their web presence and sell them on the idea that they need to pay me, I think it was like $25,000 a year to do a bunch of stuff. And so I'm trying to explain to him the value of video marketing and why I thought they should let me spend money making videos and optimizing them, as well as their website. And I was talking to him, and his eyes were glazing over, okay? And I looked out, and they lived on a canal that led out to Charlotte Harbor, sailboat water out, and his wife had told me that back in the 70s they bought this lot for like $60,000, and everybody thought they were crazy for spending that much money on this lot. Well, of course now it's worth a couple $1,000,000. So I got this ding 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 in my head, and it was explain to them that their videos and their website and their reputation was like owning waterfront property. And I said that to him, and the light bulb went on, because I was able to say, well, wouldn't you rather, if you had been able to, wouldn't you have rather bought all of the waterfront lots on this peninsula, and then you would have owned all of this waterfront property, and it would have been worth millions of dollars? And when I said that, I said, well, that's what having digital assets is in the online world. Every video is like owning waterfront property. Your website is a big piece of waterfront property. Your reviews are like waterfront property. And that is how I was able to communicate that. And they did end up signing a contract that day and they're still my clients. So when you can speak the language of your potential clients so that they can understand the simple, like digital assets equates to, if you can put it into some real world example, it really helps. That's a big tip in itself, is learn to speak the language of your potential customers and clients, and you'll find that if they get it, then they will love you forever. And that particular client, it's very interesting because I'm going to help him make like a Google Hangouts show about jewelry and antiques. And he actually told me, he said, you made me realize how valuable online marketing was. And until I talked to him in his language, he just, you know, he was like a brick wall on that. So that's actually a really good tip aside.
Okay. 1 tip a week was the agreement. So,
Oh, yeah, okay.
no problem. Just kidding. So, I really appreciate your guys' feedback. That motivates you, motivate us to do more. If you promise to come back next week, we will have something else for you already. Sounds that good? So what you can do now, hang out a little bit in Facebook. We are around that, also hanging out. So if we missed your question or you want to leave a comment, that would be great. And if you are an enterprise or a Sales Dynamic user, you are in luck. You will see the replay section. You will see the download what Tammy is providing. So you will have all that extra what you like to make this to put it in to work. So with that said, I appreciate you guys' attention. I want to thank Tammy because he put a lot of effort in this today to put this together. I hope you guys see it. That is not something in presentation what we used a half year ago or whatever. No, that is customized for your guys. So I hope you see how much work Tammy put in it to summarize this, to bring this in a way that is easy to understand and easy to implement. So thanks everybody, and thanks Tammy for doing such a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks everybody, and do come back and do feel free to ask me questions. And again, all of this, it's, you know, it's suggested, but you can take the idea and just make it your own. That's the beauty of all of this is, you know, you don't have to be married to the script or to any exact way of doing it, because it all boils down to you and your personality.
Okay, now I have one last thing. Tuesday we have another session. It's completely different, and it's something what you need, all of you guys need. There's nobody of your guys who don't need it. So I'm working on a special presentation what all of you guys need. So that is how I want to like to end, and thanks everybody for your time.